Wow! This is what you have been waiting for. Reframe 360 video without plugins for PC and Mac and Davinci Resolve. Oh! Alright, today we are going to learn how to do 360 reframe video like this with only Davinci Resolve Fusion, and it will work for both the PC and the Macintosh. The workflow I'm going to show you is really powerful. It even allows you to recreate that popular Dolly Zoom Vertigo Effect as easy as install 360 1R mobile app with easy ease and cinematic motion blur in 4K. We got a lot to learn, so let's go! Hey, what's up everybody? It's your boy Hugh here from Creator Up, the #1 YouTube channel dedicated to VR filmmaking for everyone. This is episode 4 of my Davinci Resolve 360 editing series, so go back to watch episode 1 to 3 first before you get lost. We are going to go fast in this episode, as by now, you are pretty much an expert in Resolve 360 post-production. All sample footage and project files are available to be downloaded in the description down below. You can absolutely follow along with the free version of Davinci Resolve. The caveat is the final render. The free version will be at low resolution, as you can only use up to 4K as the input source. Now, let's go ahead and import our GoPro Max drone footage and CoolCam AK walking footage. The CoolCam AK is for the advanced tutorial, where I will teach you how to use Davinci Resolve to create that popular Dolly Zoom Vertigo Effect like what you saw in the install 360 1R mobile app, but our version will look way more cinematic with custom speed control and motion blur. Go ahead and create a timeline. We are again going to set the dimension into popular 4x5 Instagram post format with 1080 by 1350. Set it to 30 frames per second and make sure mismatch resolution files to stretch frame to all corners, so you do not have any black holes in top and bottom of your video. Now drop in the GoPro Max footage and trim it. Tiny Planet 360 reframe only. If you only need a 360 Tiny Planet reframe video like the intro drone shot I did, then it is very easy. Hold Shift and spacebar to bring up the search window. Search for coordinate space, edit, hold Shift and drag the node onto the pine to connect the nodes. Go to shape, change it to polar to rectangular. It reminds you the Photoshop drone removal workflow in this tutorial. Now, all we need to do is to make it into a round planet and also fit the comp size to 1080 by 1350. Shift space again and search for transform and resize. Add them in. First, resize it to comp size, and then you play with the transform to make sure it looks good and round. Trying to also get the drone out, but you probably need to remove it. Don't worry, I will show you later in this tutorial how to remove drone. But here is your Tiny Planet video. Done! What if Tiny Planet is not your thing? You want to create Stephen Donovan or Abe Kislevis GoPro Style reframe videos? Let me introduce you a powerful macro, 100% free, in both PC and Mac in Davinci Resolve Fusion to do just that. Think it as a GoPro FX reframe plugin for Davinci Resolve. Karta VR. To keep this tutorial short, I don't want to go into the rabbit hole of Karta VR. It is a powerful free library for new X-style 360 VR VFX within Blackmagic Fusion. If you are interested in learning more, comment below and let me know. To install Karta VR, you need to download the Reactor. Go to this URL. All the links in this tutorial are provided in the description down below. They are all free software, so please give the developer thanks and support the open source community, including your boy Hugh right here, by sharing this video and give me a thumb up. Right here, just download the installer. You can simply drag and drop the LUA file onto the Resolve Fusion page like so. Go ahead and hit install. After installation is done, you will find Karta VR right here. Just install the necessary macro. They are all very powerful, and I will come back to them in my next 360 VR stereoscopic tutorial. Go ahead and remove all the tiny planet nodes. Now, right click, add to, macro, Karta VR, viewer, then pick viewer equal rec. Go ahead and connect the input and output. Now you get yourself a 16:9 4K reframed video just like GoPro FX Reframe plugin, but a lot faster because we are in Resolve. Let's go ahead and change the width and height to match our com size for Instagram. Now, if you change the angle of view, you can zoom in and out. The default view has no fisheye distortion, just like setting the curve to 70 in the GoPro FX Reframe plugin in Premiere. You can reframe it by animating the X, Y, or Z like so. Very easy to use. Another slightly more complicated way, but without download or install anything, is to use what I already taught you in part 2 of this series, LatLong Patcher. Let me show you. Go ahead and add a transform node and LatLong Patcher. LatLong Patcher is not in the free version of the Resolve, by the way. Add a merge node and a black background, and pipe the merge node to the output. In the transform node, you can zoom in and zoom out. In LatLong Patcher, you can pan, tilt, and roll the footage and animate it. Then in the merge node, you can resize the footage to comp side. That's it. Okay, what if you want both? You want to animate from flat view into tiny planet or rabbit hole effects like my intro. Well, now let's have some fun and build our own macros to do just that and more. 360 Reframe superpower in Fusion. So if you have a PC and can download and install the free plugin that I mentioned in our original Davinci Resolve tutorial right here, you should still use that. That is the best and easiest workflow. This part of the tutorial requires a little bit of work. We are going to deal with the 3D part of the Resolve, so I will also highly recommend to watch part 2 and part 3 of my Resolve series, especially part 3, where I talk about VR 180 3D workflow. There is a reason why this is part 4 of this entire series. But don't worry, it is not that hard, just follow along. If you get stuck, just comment below and I will help you out. First, let's add a transform node. Then we will add some 3D node, just like what you know already in part 3 of this series. Add shape 3D, a 3D camera, merge 3D, and render 3D. Standard stuff. We are using the regular camera 3D instead of the spherical camera, which is for VR 360 and VR 180. Connect them all and pipe the output to media out. Go to shape 3D, change the shape to sphere. We are also going to change the render 3D output to our comp size. Uncheck auto resolution and change the width and height to 1080 by 1350. Now, it's also a good time to change the proximal to quarter if you do not have a beefy machine. Assuming you are on an Apple Mac, they are usually not beefy at all compared to PC. Now, put the view window number 1 on Merge 3D by typing 1 on the keyboard while Merge 3D is selected. Pay attention to this little dog. Hold down Option or Control on a PC to dolly in and out with your scroll wheel. You see your sphere is very low poly. Let's go to Sphere 3D, increase the base subdivisions and height subdivision to higher value. 120 looks good to me. But if your computer is slow, drop it to a lower value. When rendering, remember to change the subdivisions back to 120 or even 150 for a better quality. Just a tip for you. Write it down. Go to the transform node, flip it horizontally so you have an exact same view as the GoPro FX Reframe plugin. So left is left, right is right. No inverted nightmare. Coolcam 8Ks actually had this bug in their earlier Coolcam studio doing stitching. I was going to show you how to fix that in this tutorial using the transform node. but they fix it in the latest update. So make sure you update your CoolCam Studio if you are using CoolCam 8K 360 camera. Now, if you select the 3D camera and pick rotation right here, you can play it around the tilt, pan, and yard of the camera. This is a very intuitive view if you are a videographer. Basically, we are repointing a virtual camera in post-production to reframe your shot. GoPro FX Reframe plugin hides those logic from you in Adobe Premiere, but it is better to understand in a camera perspective for you to become a better 360 reframe artist. This is a very zoom-in view, so let's back it up by changing the angle of view. Okay, now it is more a GoPro look. We can use the blue, red, and green circle to reframe the camera like so. If you want to reset it, go in here in the camera control and click the white dot to reset it back to the original position. Now let's animate it. Go to the beginning of the sequence, right click on the keyframe and select Animate Rotate Group. Now it's a good time to open up the spline tool to edit the keyframe like what you used to in Insta360 Studio or Premiere GoPro plugin. Go ahead and play it. And right here, I want to pan the view to look behind me. Set a keyframe group, go forward couple frames, grab the Y and rotate it about 180 degrees like so. Right click on the spline panel, scale to fit or Ctrl F to see everything. Play it and look very robotic. No worry, we just need some easy ease. Select all the keyframes. In the spline panel, hit F on your keyboard to add easy ease. You can also right click on the curve and change it the ease type right here. A lot more powerful than Premiere, Insta360 Studio 2020 or the upcoming GoPro Reframe standalone plugin, if you ask me. Okay, now let's play forward a little bit. Go ahead and set another keyframe for rotate group. We are also going to set keyframe for translation group because we are going to create a tiny planet transition right here. Go forward, right here, I want the camera point upward. It is easier, just type -90 degrees on the X. So what tiny planet or little planet really is the camera point down with its position at the top of the sphere. You can create tiny planet effects in any 2D application just like this. I did that like 7 years ago before tiny planet is a thing. Someone else just used the tiny planet phrase after me and make it popular on Instagram. But really, it's no magic. Go ahead and push the virtual camera Y-axis all the way to the top of the sphere. You can see the camera to help you position it. Hold down Ctrl for micro adjustment to just get the lens out of the sphere and you are not pointing the camera to the drone. Okay, we also need to change the lens curve to have full sky. I forgot to insert keyframe on the camera angle of view. So hit the left arrow right here on any keyframe to go back to the previous timecode. Go to page 1 of camera and insert a keyframe at the angle of view. Go to the next keyframe, change the angle of view. Play with the angle of view and the Y value until you have a good coverage of the sky you want. Now play the video and check our result. Okay, let's also add some easy ease by selecting all the keyframe and type F. You can also select all these keyframes, hold down Shift on your keyboard and move it a little bit closer to make the animation faster. It is the GoPro thing, right? It is all about fast motion to make things look cool. Let's play it. Yes, it looks really cool. Now, how about make the rabbit hole or inverted tiny planet effect? Talking about selling out, why not? Just don't overdo it and ruin Instagram. Insert keyframes right here and don't forget the angle of view as well. Now, to understand what inverted tiny planet basically is inverted all the values of the regular tiny planet. It's that easy. Change the X to 90 degrees. Put the camera all the way down to the ground so it's pointing to the sky instead. Select all the keyframe, hit F again for easy ease. Look at that, amazing. The GoPro FX Reframe plugin in Premiere has motion blur. we also has motion blur to make things look cinematic. Right click here to make sure motion blur is turned on. Go to render 3D node, go to the second page and check motion blur. Increase the quality to make it look awesome. Now turn off proxy mode and do a test render. It looks as good as Premiere. Here, let me show you the real advantage of using Resolve Fusion workflow. You have a powerful VFX toolset at your fingertips. In Premiere, all VFX cleanup like rotoscoping and masking has to be rendering out a ProRes or image sequence pass and import it back to After Effects. In Resolve, you can just continue to do that within the Fusion page. Like right here, we want to remove the jaw. We can easily add a paint node, select the stroke and select Chrome brush right here. Open brush control and get a big size and softness. Hold down Alt to select where you want to chrome and you can start to paint out the drone. Again, I'm doing a pretty bad job right here, but you get the idea. You can do so much and take your Reframe video to the next level. Talking about next level, let's quickly learn how to do the popular Dolly Zoom Vertigo Effect. You can do that in the Insta360 One R or Coolcam AK mobile app, but not in the GoPro Max. So let me show you how to easily do that in Resolve using what you just learned. To understand this better, what Dolly Zoom Vertigo Effect is dolly toward or away from the subject while zooming. And you have all this control already in the virtual camera we just set up. Let's go ahead and import the second footage where I was holding a 360 camera and walking toward my subject. Go to Fusion page, go ahead and add all those nodes like we just learned. Pause the video right now. Download the sample footage and try it yourself. See if you can do it yourself without my help. Okay, I assume you tried that. So here is the answer on how to do it. You add all the nodes like you just learned. Flip the transform node, change the shape to sphere and increase the subdivision. Change the size of the render 3D to fit the comp side. In camera 3D, zoom out and point the camera toward the direction I'm walking to the subject. Add a keyframe on the angle of view. If your footage is static, you can animate the virtual camera X position to push the camera in while zooming. Zooming is changing the angle of view. In this footage, as I am walking toward the talents, so we can just animate the angle of view to achieve that spatial warp effects. Select all the keyframe and hit F on the keyboard to add easy ease. Here is something that you cannot do in Insta360 One R mobile app to control the easing and also add motion blur to make it look even better. Yes, the possibilities is endless. It also shows you how easy to do a very complicated Hollywood cinematic effects with a simple consumer 360 camera and a little bit of creativity. I hope I inspire you to be creative instead of just following everybody else. Stick your camera into your washing machine or into your mouse. Please, don't be that guy.
Another advantage of Resolve is its flexibility. Not like in GoPro FX Reframe plugin, you only have whatever output GoPro gives you. In this case, the Dolly Zoom effects look better on an anamorphic aspect ratio with a wider left and right warp space. And we want a 4K 60 FPS output to mix it with our DSLR footage rather than just a social media output. We can easily do that without starting all over again. Simply go back to the edit page, create a new timeline with 2.35 by 1 aspect ratio in 4K with 60 frames per second, bring in the footage we just did, go to Fusion and change the render 3D size to the same dimension and render it again. Same idea when you want to create 1x1 Instagram posts or any funky format you need for all different kind of delivery format. That is another reason why this is so powerful and allows limitless variation for cinematographers and seasoned professionals.
Thank you for watching this in-depth tutorial on 360 Reframe with Davinci Resolve. Now you know all the possible ways to reframe your 360 video no matter what camera you use. Again, the reason why you use Resolve instead of Premiere, GoPro native software, or install 360 Studio is because of its powerful coloring feature and also sound design with fair light. All these are coming in the ongoing Resolve series, but the next one we are going to get in-depth in 3D 360 VR video production. After 4 episodes and long journey with me in Resolve, I think you are ready for some extra challenge. If you did anything with just Resolve, please share it in the comment section down below so others can check out your work as well. If you are new here, it will help the channel and me a lot if you consider to subscribe and hit the notification bell. It will help you too to stay ahead of the game in VR filmmaking. Keep creating, my friends. I will see you in the next tutorial.